Okay, in this video, I'm going to tell a story, but I want you to listen to the whole story and give your opinion on it. If the person or people these days they just call them narcissistic one, who is, you can use words like scam artist or scammers or e-beggars, whatever is the case, that how you see it in this situation. It's just an example. It's a tall Texas tale. And, leave it, but hear it out. First, hear it all out. Okay. Now, when I first started making videos on YouTube, it was a little over 5 years ago. August was 5 years. And on my original channel. And one of the first things I had heard about back then was it was smaller and the group seemed tighter. Maybe it's still that way, and just all these years it's huge. It's bigger, I would say. But I heard a lot of different things from different. They call them, they each call themselves a community, but overall YouTube has a community, so I would call it sub-community. But anyway, in one of them, I heard some people are in more than one community too. I am, for example. But so I heard this about this one woman, and I somewhat have a vague memory of her name, but I could be wrong. That was almost 5 years ago, and I never knew her or anything. But what I heard was she had this habit of, she was a subscriber to these channels, people watch and comment and stuff, and she had been subscribed to this one woman who was in two communities. I'm not going to name the communities, but and this woman was very sweet and very nice and everything, and she was around my age. All the people were usually around my age, and she was very nice, and she was giving money to different people who make YouTubers, people who make the videos, content creators. I just call them YouTubers that actually make videos. Some people, they don't make videos. They have channels, but they don't make videos. And in case you're watching on something other than YouTube. So, okay. But she was giving money to them, to different people that she liked. And I wasn't exactly part of that group, that little group. Community as a little group, no. But in a way, I knew somebody who was in it, in other words. And the amount that she was giving them were, some would see big chunks of money. For that community, those communities, I'd say yes, that group. It was $1,000. She'd just give out, however she did, $1,000 at a pop, She wasn't asking for anything in return. But, she just thought this was a friendly thing to do. Like, she would listen to their videos, and they were having some kind of problem, which wasn't wasn't a group, wasn't a community, but they would just mention their problem. They had a problem, say, oh, I had the flu really bad, and I'm just now recovering from it, and something like that. And that's why I haven't been making videos. They would do, maybe do something like that. And this person was giving out money. And she did it in more than one community, and the people in these two communities usually were in both communities, sometimes were in both communities. Whew, that makes a lot of sense, huh? Along the way, I started noticing more and more about what people call e-beggars, electronic beggars. And they get money from people who were, it doesn't matter what kind of social media you're on. It wasn't just YouTube. They'd somehow get money. But they would usually do something like that to say that they were having some kind of a problem. And I remember some people, they just go really low with it. And it makes you wonder, are they being truthful or are they not? Are they lying? Now, here's one point. Ooh, that bus was way too close. Way too close. I know they can see me. But anyway, they had this, some people have a problem with it. They say, like, if you get up there, you say you can make a video and you say, oh, I'm having this really serious problem, and but you don't ask for money. You just say that you're having this problem. And people start, but you have your PayPal or whatever way that they can send you money. Some people have a problem with that and say that that's e-begging. And some say it's scamming, some, that these are con artists, that this is what they do. They usually find very vulnerable people, often older adults, older or elderly, and they work it. Okay, now, I think some people try to use the same definition for when it's offline, when it's not on the internet, as they would on the internet. I don't think you can use the same exact thing, because it's a different way that people can scam one another, or con one another, or beg from other people. You see? It's similar but not the same. And you see what I'm saying is somebody that's on a social media that's not trying, like a business or something like this, just somebody who's an online, I don't know, personality. I don't know what I would call it, but yeah, I think, something like that people get to know or something. Anyway, but that's their whole thing. Their whole thing is to get people to know them, and then they decide, people get to know them, and once people get to know them, then they decide to pull a scam, pull a whatever, and by coming up with something that's, say, people, like I said, can be really low life with it, and talk about their mom, their elderly mother needs, to have this, like have an operation, or if they're going to be out on the street, if they don't get rent money, they don't have any groceries, they don't have, their electricity's about to be turned off. I've seen these. Okay, people do these, and people will fall for it. Now, some people have a problem. They say, well, whatever anybody does with their money, that's their business. However they have to work it, some call them hustlers. And some people seem to be very proud of being a hustler. I heard this long before I ever knew about any social media. I actually heard somebody I knew be so proud that she's a hustler. Hustles people out of their money. Not a hustler like playing a card game or shooting pool or whatever, but getting them to give them money. Her money. That many of them couldn't even really afford, but she was proud of it. And there are people who have different opinions on it, like it's nobody's business. That's the one that seems most popular, especially if they're doing it themselves. That they will say that it's nobody's business how somebody gets their money, and it's nobody's business what a person does with their money once somebody gives them the money. Now, and there are some people who say that is absolutely wrong. That's false. There are laws, there are rules. When somebody's scamming people out of money, when somebody's trying to get money out of people who are like I said earlier, elderly, or people who have there's various things. Anybody really, and that's what they're doing. They're lying and they're working it, to get money out of people who really are falling for it. And I don't want to say falling for it. I don't want to blame the victim of this, but yeah. Okay, because some people would say that's not even a con, for people to lie and say they need money for this and that, their mother and their grandmother, whomever that they use. Some people say that's not a scam. How can that not be a scam? And even if they say that it's for themselves. Now, I haven't really finished this yet. But say the whole thing behind it is they don't need that money for that. They're just trying to get money. Okay? They want money for whatever. Now, some people, they might actually need it, and that's the bad thing, is the people who are out there scamming are hurting the ones who really might need the help. It makes it very difficult for people to decide who really needs help, and what does that make you if you really think that people need help and you're helping, and not, see, on and on these can go. And they do. And like I said, people have problems with various things, and like say that they actually get this money from people, and the next thing you do, like say they make videos. Doesn't have to be YouTube. They're a place you can make videos. And they do this like daily, or they write or something. and they're a daily vlogger or daily blogger, a video or, yeah. So anyway, and let's just say they're on video. And at first, they're telling this hotel about how they need money for some kind of real emergency, and without it, somebody's going to be harmed, or have to live on the street, or they won't have electricity, or whatever it is. It's an essential need, and people send them money, and then the next thing you know, that you see them going out shopping. Okay, they get the money, but they're out there shopping or getting their nails done, their hair done. They're shopping for stuff, just frivolous stuff, not essentials, non-essentials. And, people are like, what? I really sent you that money so you could go and, pay your light bill, pay your whatever. And then some people call them on the carpet about it, say, hey, what is this? And they'll say, well, I've been through so much, I felt like I needed something. They play that little sweet, I can't do that sweet little thing. But male or female, it doesn't have to be female, it doesn't have to be male. And then they say that they really needed to spend a little bit of the money on themselves. Because it was such a harsh thing that they went through. And before you know it, they do it again and again and again, because they know that they can, like they might wait a few months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and they start it all over again. And then, you don't know how much money they're actually getting. Okay, they could be getting a lot of money from various people, but you're not going to know. There's no bank account that you can see how much, or whatever, that you can see how much money people have donated. Okay, so, and then they keep doing this. This is how they get their money, over and over, repeatedly. Okay, I started this off to say that I was going to tell a story. So let me tell a Texas tale here. More like it, yeah. Okay, say that, like I said, I had been on YouTube for 5 years. And I usually make my videos when I'm driving down the road, and I don't have a problem with it. I've been doing it for almost 5 years. And I've been driving for 40 years. And, some people have a problem with it. Some people don't. Some people don't say anything. And I used to actually do my videos on camera at home from my computer. But once Windows 10 came out, the webcams, I bought 2 new ones. None of them worked. Plus, I got solar screens in my house, and that makes everything dark. I'd have to go out and buy lighting and find some webcam that works on Windows 10. I would need a new computer. My headset's real low. I don't know why. It's new. I don't know why. But I'd have to do a lot to start doing those. So I do them when I'm driving down the road, and I'm multitasking, getting whatever I'm doing done, and do my videos, all the while. And like I said, some people have problems with it, but I'm not sitting, my camera is mounted underneath the rearview mirror. Okay, it's my cell phone, and there's a mount underneath it, and it doesn't have any problems where it's located. And it's kind of like having a front view mirror, seriously. And I'm not sitting here turning turning my head sideways, talking to somebody, a passenger or somebody in the back. And I question that when people say that they have a problem with me doing that. I question them, are you always silent when you're driving? Do you ever speak to anybody in the car while you're driving? Does everybody have to be silent? People, they don't, people like that, they're not putting themselves in somebody else's shoes. And seeing that they might be actually doing worse because they're looking away from the road. I'm not. I'm looking straight forward. So that's important to this story. Okay, like I said, my original channel, I've been on it for 5 years. And during the while, when I first started, like I said, it was this closer community. And me and one woman, we would do, I don't know, would send each other gifts and stuff, small stuff for like holidays, birthdays, this kind of thing at first. And people did that in that group. It was just shopping. That's the only thing I knew at the time that people did, other than music and teach a new language or something, how to fix something, how-tos. But why do people keep getting so close? There is no car on the other side. But anyway, real life happens in the middle of a video. But anyway, so, that was kind of common. People did that. And one of the things I noticed about it at first was one woman, she seemed to be the type that only wanted to receive. You see, she didn't want to give, and I wasn't one to give to her or anything. But the way she did her videos, you could tell she just wanted to receive. She didn't want to, give and receive. And I did that for a while. The give and receive thing, and it was mutual. And but it was always something really small, and like Christmas cards too, or holiday cards. And I didn't do it for very long because I got burned. Okay, I would also do people would do those, what were they called? I can't remember. What is it called? I can't remember. But anyway, I would send out little gift cards like $20 or $10, and they would know what it was going to be, and they'd win. And I don't know. It's not really a contest. I don't know what you call it. But something to their subscribers and everything. But I got burned. Okay. And the funniest thing I got was another woman. I don't know what happened to her. She just kind of left YouTube. But she sent me some moon pies. That was hilarious. And I stopped doing it once I got burned. And it was basically, it was a woman who was nice to me, but she was in a different community. She was in both, really. And I told her I had these samples of makeup that I got at Ulta. And I have allergies. I don't really wear that much makeup, but I was in there for some reason. I don't know what I was buying. And I got all these samples, and they were just little bitty samples, okay? And I let her, I let it know that they're really tiny samples. It wasn't a big expense thing. I didn't buy them. I got them free. And she said she'd like to see them because she likes to try the samples. So I sent them to her. And when people would give and receive, we do make videos about what we received from, the other person, and the other person would do the same, and people would see, what we exchanged and stuff. And she went and made a video. She never sent me anything, but I didn't ask her to. I just mentioned I had them, and she wanted them, so I sent them. Well, she made a video to basically make me look bad, because there were only samples, and that's what I had told her, but she didn't tell her audience that. No. She was basically trying to say how cheap I am. And I'm not. Okay, I'm not. But it was all a setup because I really truly believe that she was very jealous of me. She would make comments about, because like I said, I was doing the videos on camera, and there were some bookshelves, which I didn't buy the bookshelves, and they're not that bad, but she made comments about them not being really, a real good, I don't know. They weren't made all that great. They're nice. She just made a comment negative because she was jealous. Okay, when it comes down to it, she was jealous. And she had to try to find something to pick on. So I got burned, and I said, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing any of that anymore. And plus, just wasn't something that was going on in my life. There was something else going on in my life, and I didn't have time for all that. And, yeah. And I had also switched making different types of videos. Okay, I'm talking a lot in this one, but yeah, kind of need to give background here. Okay, a lot of it. And so anyway, so I stopped doing that. I've had a post office box since then. My post office box mailing address is still on that channel, and it's on all of them except for one. Okay, and that's on purpose. Now, I have never received anything like just out of the blue, some money. I don't have a pen pal. In fact, I just recently had called and to see, because I used to have a pen pal when they first started having PayPal. Yeah, PayPal. Did I say pen pal? No, no, no. Anyway, I had a PayPal, like I've mentioned in other videos, when it first started up. That was long before I ever got on YouTube or anything. Never used it. I didn't like the way it worked with the bank account and stuff, so I was talking about that on a video, so I called to find out if I still had that one, and I looked online too, and I had written down the password and everything. Have a little collection of them and index cards in the index cards box. So I know where they are. And Only I could understand what it all means, but so, and I did, and it was associated to my bank, and I did not like that. And my phone, I've had my phone for many years though, it's 15 years, same phone number, same cell phone number. But anyway, so there was a whole huge mess with it when I was on the phone with them, and I called from my landline too, and it said there was an account associated with it, and it shouldn't be. So it was a big ordeal, Nothing these days is just so simple. It seems like I can't say nothing, but too often. So I had them close it, okay? And even spoke to my bank, all this stuff, made sure, because that was just too weird how it was. Just trust me, it was too weird. And so I don't have a PayPal, and I will not have a PayPal. Oh, no. I would have to be guaranteed something in writing 100% that it's secure. Nothing is secure. I'm a victim of identity theft. I don't know how they got it, but the person had my social security number, and that's a big old long video in itself. This is from years ago, and that's bad. So I don't give any personal information, like that kind of stuff online. I just don't. So anyway, so nobody would have my PayPal if they wanted to send me something. Money. It would have to be money, right? Yeah. On PayPal, they would not be able to because I don't have one. And I'm not an e-beggar type, so, I don't ask people for money. And don't say I have this or that, but anyway. So they'd have to send it to me in the mail if they, were inclined to do so, which I'm not asking for them to be inclined to do so. So, now to get to the story, finally. Needed the background. So, and yes, it sounds like rambling, but the background is important. So, say that somebody actually did that. Sent me something in the post, through the postal service. Some people, whenever they get money from somebody, they call them donations, I guess it's a tax thing. It depends on where you live, but I think here, donations, they're not taxable or non-taxable. I don't know. I really don't know that if there's a certain amount and all this kind of stuff. I really don't know. But anyway, say that somebody did. I went and got my mail, and there was a card. I've had cards that I didn't know who the people were, greeting cards, and so I went and did that. And when I check my post office box mail, it's always post office. I don't feel safe with anything else. I don't give out my real name, that I can't say real name, but perfect time for a coughing fit. But yeah, it's my name, but it has to be your name to get mail. But anyway, let's move on from that. Also there's the funny thing is I noticed that people, that when they would send me something, like exchange, sometimes they would send it under my channel name. I don't know why people do that, especially since I have mine is an initial, is what it is, on my post office box and mail. Yeah, but I'm getting sleepy. I think it's the rain is making me sleepy. But anyway, so I don't know why they put instead of my name, they'll put my channel name. I have an actual person. But nobody sent me anything in a while. I think it was last Christmas somebody sent me a Christmas card, one. So that's okay, Anyway, so say I went and got my mail, and there was a card. And I when I get my mail, I wait till I get home before I open and read it and everything. And say there was a card from a viewer, a subscriber, and it was a male around my age. As I realized once I got home and opened up and read the card and the little letter in it. And also inside of it was a gift card, okay? And it was a big amount, like say $1,000. It was from a man around my age who watches my videos. And the letter said that he doesn't like that I do that I drive while I do my videos. He doesn't think it's safe, so he's sending me money, a gift card, to go and buy whatever I need so I can do my videos at home. Stop and think about that for a moment. Okay, since I have been I do videos about narcissistic abuse and so forth, my thought immediately goes along the line of control freak. Really. I have my whole life, 56 years of it, I have known people who want to buy you. They want to control you through money. Okay, so especially at this time in my life, would be to be suspicious of the intentions of the person. Whether it was male or female, I would be suspicious. But I would also have in my mind that there are some nice people out there, but I would worry more about the people who were doing it. You know, that chunk of money, yeah. I would worry more about their own mindset. You know, how did they get into this to send big chunks of money to somebody? Yeah, some people are nice and they're givers and stuff. I would still worry about them. Okay? So I would see it as two ways. How would you see it? Would you see it in two ways? Would you see it both ways, or would you see it some other way? And some people would say, well, that's what people do. And it is true. 5 years now, over 5 years, people do send donations and stuff like that to people. But what about people who aren't asking for it? You know, people who aren't trying to find a way to get that money. Now, just for the record, I said tall Texas tail. Okay, that was the tail part. The untruth part. That has not happened. Nobody has sent me $1,000. Now, the rest of it, yeah. The rest of it, you know, I used to exchange and stuff like that. That was true. But nobody has ever sent me money. But how would you see me if I told you that I got that money? You know, I didn't, but if I did, and I decided that I'm not going to listen to that person, you know, him or her, he or she, because they're controlling me. But I'm going to take that money and I'm going to spend it on myself. I'm going to spend it on something else, and whatever I want. How would your view of me change? Now, I didn't ask for the money. I wasn't hinting at it. How would your view of me change? How did your view of me change when I said somebody sent me that? Okay, did you suddenly say, what was she been saying? You see, we're living in a world now where you see so much of this, of people e-begging and scamming, and you know, the con artists online, and just regular social media, you know, groups, wherever, on whatever, and people who are just subscribers or group members, whatever it is, whatever social media, and getting conned by other ones who've been there not a short while. But yeah, that's how they work it. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, you know, we've seen so much of this for so long. I mean, if you've been online, maybe you haven't. Maybe it's all new to you. Maybe you've never even heard of this. When I first started 5 years ago making videos, now I have to say I was first online in anything you could think of as a social media platform in 1990. Okay, that's a long time. And I have seen various things people have done. But yeah, about around 5 years ago is when I started seeing a major increase in it. Seriously, one where people were trying. I've seen it before. It wasn't just one platform, you know, social media platform, but it just like a big increase in this e-begging, scamming, con artists, hustlers. What are all the terms? There's so many terms for it. I can't even think of them all. Of what people do. And there are people who will justify, you know, people getting money because they're wanting that money to spend on themselves, so they don't want to say anything bad about it. They want to put out there that it's okay, that normalization of narcissism. They want to put it out there that it's okay, and nobody should ask them what they're doing with their money. It's nobody's business. That's the thing, like I said earlier. That's the thing here, and it's nobody's business. Well, it is. If people are pulling scams, it's everybody's business. Okay, whatever, how they got that money, you know? Okay, but back to my fictional thing, story. How would you see it if I did do that? If I say, hey, this person thought they were going to control me. No, I can imagine me doing that. But say I did. I'm losing my voice again. Oh my goodness. But say I did that and went out and splurged on whatever. I don't even know what I would splurge on. I really don't need anything right now, but just go out there and spend the money on something, anything other than, and I continue to do that. Some people would say, well, they would blame the victim, would be the person who sent me the money. Some would say that's not a victim, that's a narcissist, and they deserved it. But I don't know, a narcissistic person. But either way, say it was somebody who really is a nice person and really was doing that because he really was worried about me and he really wanted me to do this. And okay, and he was known for being a really nice person across the, whatever community. He was known for that, whatever group. And I just took advantage of it. Or say, if I had been hinting. You see, there's so many ways, and I've seen this so many times. I've done videos, just recently a one, a Patreon. I still wanted to do more. I can understand why people go to Patreon, and for not the e-begging part, but a different one. But anyway, that's another video. But yeah, I can understand that, and why people would say, oh, they back off of me and say, oh, she was just lying all the time. 5 years of lying. But I've done videos about this, like I was saying, for all these years, at least probably once or twice a year, every blue moon kind of thing, maybe, or maybe every season, I don't know. Because like I said, every season I get interested in looking at certain kinds of videos. I have found they are, and I've known this, so many of them. There are a lot of them. Ones I wouldn't even know about if it weren't for this one or that one or whatever. But one of the things is you often see is no matter what kind of group it is, that they're angry with somebody for scamming or they're angry for somebody at doing this, is that they all say that same thing. Like I said, it's nobody's business. And if somebody's really sweet and nice, it's their problem that they sent out this money. They have a problem, and nobody should have to pay for that problem. And if they sent out, that's their loss. Yeah, so the person they received it can do whatever they want to with it. It's nobody's business. But what about you? How do you see it? How do you view it? Where do we draw a line? Okay, where does anybody draw a line? And anybody say, okay, wait a minute, this is a scam. This is illegal. This is this. What do you think? I'm losing my voice. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And I don't know how long this is going to be, but I might have to divide it into 2. Anyway, I'll talk to you on another video. Oh, remember, the story about me receiving money was false. It did not happen. It was fake. It was fiction. I'll get the word right in a minute. Fiction. Yeah. Anyway, wrapping up. Talk to you on another video.